Hi, this is Dan Martin with Swing the Pro. I want to talk today about slicing and what really kind of causes slices in a golf swing. It's obviously the number one thing that plagues newer players when they learn to play the game is that they fight a slice, a big left to right if you're a right-hander, banana ball type thing. A lot of people feel like slicing, it's all about the swing path and the club face relationship. Well, certainly that's going to cause curvature, but I'm going to share with you kind of more of the hidden elements of really not understanding the dynamics of a swing and how that actually causes slicing. So what's unique about a golf club that's kind of hidden in the shaft is that it's supposed to swing like a loose rope or a playground swing, if you will, something that requires tautness along the length of it to make it perform. Our brains, however, when we have a rigid object, don't necessarily automatically think, oh, you know what, I'm going to swing that thing like it's a ball attached to the end of a rope. So we're always fighting the dynamics of trying to control the face with our wrist joints as we're going through, and that's where it really causes a lot of problems, particularly in slicing. So a typical slicer actually starts their swing with a fair amount of grab on the golf club. So they're trying to move the club with their wrists, and their brain automatically recognizes this is big trouble. So then there becomes a reversal in momentum, motion, and then they try to start to accelerate the handle to get more power. In fact, at any point in time, if you try to accelerate the handle in the late phase of the swing, it will always push the handle open, and in the club face, if I push the handle, it starts to rotate around its center of mass, and the club will always be open. So trying to hit it harder is really where we struggle and causing slices. The dynamics of a swing are supposed to work like so. My arm accelerates, that naturally creates this pulling back energy of the golf club, and then my arm decelerates and releases energy. And so if my arm is actually slowing down as I'm coming into impact, that gives the chance to release loaded energy. That, just by virtue of definition here, the shaft will start to try to pull forward, the club face will want to release, and it's much harder to hit a fade or a slicing ball. I can illustrate that when using my pro. So I rapidly learn when I'm training with my pro if I got my swing in the correct order. Most of us are trying to use our hands to try to move the club early, which if I do that with my pro, it'll form an angle between the grip and the rope. Whereas what we want to do is we want to learn how to sling, which means the arm is accelerating and then my wrists are passive, so the weight that I'm swinging is pulling this thing taut. Once I pull this taut, as I get down into what we'll call the deceleration phase, where your arm slows down, the released energy can go. So I know I'm doing that well if I can keep this straight and then feel it release. If I'm putting torque on it with my hands, like these ones, it bends. A bending club is something that I don't have control of. Because we have a rigid component with an actual loose component here, or a yielding link, if you will, like a chain or a rope, you actually cannot swing it correctly if you're using your hands. It always breaks. So I have to discipline my wrists in my swing to not put the forces on that create slicing. So if you kind of look down target line here, if I'm using my hands a lot, it starts kind of going crazy. But if I actually learn how to let it go, it starts to naturally fall on that path that we all want to have to hit that nice little butter draw. So when I get back to with my golf club, it's the same thing. I want to copy the same sensations. I want to accelerate my arm and allow the golf club to fall behind me and then learn to let it go. Really difficult to feel with a rigid golf club until you understand the principles. So when I'm using my pro, I can always check in and see if I'm actually doing it correctly or if I'm doing it incorrectly. And the more I train with it, the more I can start to transfer that knowledge to using my driver. And that's what's going to give me those really nice, solid, long drives, soft draw, straight. You won't have to worry about it. All right, so that is how you fix your slice.